Why do ad prices move up and down all the time? Sometimes they're too expensive, sometimes they're cheaper. What causes the ad prices and the demand on these ad platforms to go up or down? Let's discuss that today. What's up, guys? My name is Matej. Another day for Music Biz Daily. And let me touch up on a topic. I've definitely talked about this before, even on my podcast 2 years ago, and definitely throughout many videos. But why do ad prices or your cost per click or cost per action or cost per view kind of fluctuate, and sometimes you can achieve a very low one and sometimes you can, they're a lot more expensive. So it has mainly to do obviously with the supply and demand of how many people want to run ads. And when generally do people, companies, shops, services want to run more ads is generally around particular holiday seasons or peak demand times for that particular industry, right? So we just got through a major one. And this one was very interesting because look, 4 years ago, even though I was doing digital marketing here and there for my own, company and my own brand and things like that, I did not have a digital marketing agency. And the reason I say 4 years ago is because that was when the last presidential election was, right? We already know, and I've talked about this many times, that the end of the year, Q4, mainly starting at Halloween, but really primarily on Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the way into Christmas, it's a peak time for running ads for almost any company in the world that has gotten used to running ads. So that cost goes up. But this year, we've had, the reports that I read, it was about $9 billion spent, and think about this, is in the US. They're not targeting outside the US. In the US, $9 billion was spent from, I think, like July of last summer of 2020 till about the elections, like November 4th, November 5th. And even after that, a lot more money was spent because of the Georgia elections. But $9 billion of demand for ads were infused into YouTube, AdWords, Facebook, Instagram, potentially a little bit of even into Snapchat, perhaps even TikTok a little bit. So you can imagine how much that drives up the prices. So it was more than I expected. I was expecting that holiday rush of Thanksgiving all the way up to Christmas, but I did not realize how much of a factor the presidential elections were until I researched of how much money was actually spent, right? But again, holidays and these type of different events always jack up the prices because there's more entities trying to run ads and potentially targeting your particular audience. Now, it can get more complex than that. Let's say you are strictly just targeting people that like comic books, as an example, right? You may not experience such a hike because that particular niche, defined audience may not be targeted by the politicians and all that. Politicians may do broader targeting by age, by maybe certain interests, like are you Democrat or Republican or independent, or maybe by social issues and things like that. But comic books in that time maybe a lot. So there's a lot of things to consider, but generally for everybody it spikes. For me this year, I've had to double my budget for running ads every month just to reach about 60% of the output that I normally can outside of these holidays, which is crazy. That means it was almost 3 times, sometimes 3.5 times as more expensive to run ads between Thanksgiving and, really, it started sort of September, but Thanksgiving to Christmas, right? So the reason I'm making this video, because I want to condition you to think about these different holidays. So what is another major holiday that's coming up next, right? It's going to be Valentine's Day, February 14th. So my recommendation for 4 days before Valentine's Day and maybe another 1 or 2 days after, I would either lower your ad spend unless you have, you just want to maintain your budget. But this is also a good time that if you are marketing to foreign countries, that makes sense for your particular brand because you can go there and tour, perform or whatever, or even if you can, but even if you just want to saturate a certain foreign country because that's in your future plans to go there and perform, you could maybe increase your budget to those particular regions and increase your budgets here in the US and Canada, right? So, but you have to consider, do those countries also celebrate Valentine's Day, right? Because it's different for every country in the world. For example, when Thanksgiving is happening here in the US, advertising to England or Germany may be wise because they don't necessarily have Thanksgiving, but Christmas is the same. Black Friday now, since I've been going back to visit my family in Europe, Black Friday has been sort of adapted by every European country at least. Everybody has a Black Friday now in the Western world, maybe even in Japan and South Korea. I don't know that for a fact, but you have to consider these things, right? So again, when these holidays come, President's Day, July 4th, or these different events, you can shift your budgets accordingly, but you have to make sure that whatever region or demographic you're shifting your budget to is not being affected by the spike of demand for advertising for that particular holiday. So, it's really not that complex. You can make it complex if you go too deep, but I just want to leave you with that information. I'm going to repeat it, every year, because now we're in January. The price has already dropped like the threefold. Like I said, literally, I'm back at the old rates that I was at. Our cost per conversion, cost per lead, cost per click-through rates, and all of that. They came back down. But that's what I'm saying, is that the cost is not. That's like one of the latter things we consider. The other things that we consider are the different conversion rates, the pixel, conversions, the action conversions, the click-through rates, and these different parameters that we're really looking at. That's what we're looking at. If those don't change, then you're in good shape. The price will change, but that's the ones we're looking at. So again, if you have the budget, sustain it. If you don't, lower it, throw it somewhere else where the market is not being affected by that particular holiday. I'm gonna leave you guys with that information. If you have any questions, in the comments, share this video or save it. And if you guys need to get a hold of us, you know where to click, link in the bio, or DM me, or link is below, depending on where you're watching this. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video of Music Biz Daily. Peace out.